There should be some kind of sanctions against that place until they make some type of change. I'm surprised that the rap game is still alive because the masculinity that the rappers are supposed to portray.
I'm anti-establishment, so I can never be the establishment. You know what I mean? Like, even if I'm at the Diddy party, I'm there to tell. You see what I'm saying? Like, I'm there to see who the is in here and what do y'all get from being in here.
They trying to him out so he'll feel too embarrassed to file his lawsuit against Diddy for what Will and Diddy did to him.
When two of Hollywood's most outspoken truth-tellers unite, the industry holds its breath. Terrence Howard just stepped forward to back everything Katt Williams has been exposing about the systematic destruction of young black talent. What you just heard isn't conspiracy theory. It's insider testimony from men who've walked away from millions rather than compromise their souls. Tonight, they're revealing how the same machine that tried to break them completely shattered Bryshere Gray. From Empire's golden boy to forgotten casualty, this is the story Hollywood never wanted you to piece together. The pattern is undeniable. The evidence is overwhelming. The truth is finally surfacing. You know what's fascinating about industry whistleblowers? They never start by trying to expose anybody. They just make one innocent observation that cracks open an entire universe of secrets they never wanted to know existed.
Rappers, they're all so tough until you hear their real name.
Yeah, or until you see them at a puffy party.
Oh.
Then they're not tough no more. I'm surprised that the rap game is still alive because the masculinity that the rappers are supposed to portray. Oh.
That right there, that's not Terrence Howard throwing shade at rappers. That's a moment of genuine confusion from someone who knows what goes on behind the scenes. He's literally saying, how are these guys still walking around acting tough when I know what they had to do to get here? Think about it. Terrence Howard has been in this game for 3 decades. He's sat in boardrooms with these same executives, worked with these same producers, attended these same parties. When he expresses surprise that the rap game survived this long given the masculinity expectations, he's not talking about what we see on stage. He's talking about what happens in the back rooms. You think what Terrence hinted at sounds crazy? Wait until you hear Katt Williams pull back the entire curtain.
What I'm saying is, in business, nothing is coincidental, or you would be hearing who's losing money. In all of these situations, it's only the artist that's losing. Somebody makes big money. When these rappers get killed, not incidental. Somebody made $100 million and now don't have to talk to that artist or none of their crew, don't have to validate none of their contracts. Now only got to deal with the mama, only got to see her once a year, and it's over. And the money goes up and up and up. So they killed this $20 million guy, but they reaped $60 million in benefits.
Wow.
And they had some people from your city do it.
Wow.
I'm saying there's the good side and the bad side of these businesses.
Katt Williams just said that every accident, every career downfall, even every death in show business is pre-planned for maximum profit. That's not a punchline. That's an industry insider telling you that what you think are random tragedies are actually calculated business decisions. When a comedian stops making jokes and starts making accusations, you better listen. Because Katt Williams didn't build his career on conspiracy theories, he built it on telling uncomfortable truths that everyone else was too scared to say. Now watch what happens when Terrence gets personal about his own experiences with this machine.
A number of producers come in and make the approach, and you threaten to punch them in the mouth, or threaten to knock their head off for talking to you like, or looking at you like you're a woman. You know, when you approach a real man about his masculinity, you're gonna get a real reaction back. It's a difference when a guy walks in a room and when a man walks into a room. And a man don't take the same things that a guy will accept. So always be the man in the room. And that's always been my whole thing, and have lost businesses because I don't bend over in that way. I don't compromise. I don't play gay roles. I don't kiss a man. I don't do that because the man card means everything.
There's your proof. Terrence Howard just admitted that multiple producers approached him with these kinds of opportunities throughout his career. And every time he said no, another door slammed shut. This isn't theoretical. This is a first-hand witness explaining why his career never reached the heights his talent deserved. You're watching a man describe 20 years of industry punishment for refusing to play by rules he found morally repulsive. And the crazy part? He's grateful for those closed doors because he gets to sleep at night knowing who he still is. But here's what should terrify you. If this is how they treat established veterans like Terrence Howard, imagine what they do to young, hungry kids who don't have the wisdom or power to say no. Here's the thing about industry secrets. They're never really secrets. They're just truths that get buried so deep that when someone finally digs them up, everybody acts shocked. But if you know where to look, you can find the blueprint scattered all over music history. Let me tell you about a rapper who tried to warn us 20 years ago. His name was Petey Pablo. And in the early 2000s, he was on fire. Raise Up had the whole South spinning shirts like helicopters, gold albums, major label deals, MTV rotation, the complete package. Then one day, he just vanished. Not gradually, not because his music got stale, instantly, like someone flipped a switch.
Tell them, okay, yeah, you can have a deal. Perform on me, and you get your deal. That was what I heard while I was on Empire about some of the people in the business. And Petey Pablo, you remember Petey Pablo?
I know who that is.
Petey Pablo, talented writer, singer. Him and Young Buck wrote a song called Ho His Own. And in that song, back in about 2011 or 29 or something, because he called out all of the homo taking place at those parties and those people, he was kicked out of the music business. No radio station would play his stuff. So you look for Petey Pablo, he's not around anymore. But that song, Ho Its Own, they did not care, and they went all in on it.
Did you feel that shift? Terrence Howard just confirmed what industry insiders whispered about for decades. Petey Pablo didn't disappear because of bad business decisions or creative differences. He got systematically erased because he started talking about the Sewell favor system that keeps this whole machine running. Picture this, it's 2002. No social media, no viral videos, no independent platforms. If the industry wanted you gone, you were gone. No questions asked. Petey Pablo was trying to pull back the curtain on something massive, and the response was swift and brutal.
They accused him of fondling or touching someone at a bar.
Oh, yeah.
At a bar, and then they accused him of touching some dude.
Classic character destruction. Can't buy his silence, can't threaten his contracts because he's already talking, destroy his reputation. Suddenly, the artist who was exposing Preds gets painted as one himself. The victim becomes the villain, and the real villains get to keep operating in the shadows. Here's what makes me see red. Petey Pablo's playbook from 2002 is identical to what we're seeing today. Same methods, same outcomes, same silence that follows. The only difference? Now we have the internet to piece together what really happened. This pattern was perfected long before Bryshere Gray ever stepped onto a movie set. And if you understand what they did to Petey Pablo, you'll understand exactly how they broke a young man who thought his talent would protect him. Let me explain the most disturbing part. They've turned psychological destruction into an art form. There's actually a clinical term for what they do to young black men in this industry. Terrence Howard calls it breaking the buck. And before you hear what that means, understand this. What you're about to learn isn't just industry gossip. It's a systematic process that's been refined over decades to ensure that nobody with real power ever poses a threat to the people who run this machine.
What is it with all the man-on-man action that I'm learning about? I mean, like with the puffy parties. Like the last thing I ever thought that went on there was gay stuff. Not that gay stuff was wrong, it's wonderful. I just did not think that's what Puffy was doing.
Yeah, well, I didn't think it either. And even when my assistant said that stuff, I still was like joking it off. And it wasn't until later on that I heard other things from people that worked from him. You know, you remember that back in the times of slavery, they had a thing called breaking the buck. That people in the industry are still making young rappers who have fought the worst of circumstances, being disenfranchised, being discounted, and then they finally like, I'm gonna put it into the music. I'm gonna do it in the music. I'm gonna, and get myself together. And they go and see someone, and they tell them, okay, yeah, you can have a deal. perform on me, and you get your deal.
They target young men with natural charisma, authentic masculinity, and real talent, the exact qualities that could make them independent threats to the power structure. Then they systematically strip away everything that makes them strong until they become compliant and controllable. This isn't about preferences or personal choices. This is about power and control. It's about taking someone with the natural authority to lead and influence people, then breaking their spirit so completely that they'll never challenge the system that owns them. This is a deliberate process designed to ensure that anyone with the combination of talent, influence, and independence gets neutralized before they become a problem. Bryshere Gray had all three of those qualities: talent, influence, and the kind of authentic presence that made people genuinely connect with him. In other words, he was exactly the type of person this system was designed to break. Before we dive into how they broke Bryshere Gray, you need to understand exactly what they were destroying, because what happened to him becomes infinitely more tragic when you see what he was before the machine got its hands on him. This wasn't some struggling artist desperate for his first break. This wasn't a kid from the streets with nothing to lose. Bryshere Gray was Hollywood gold, the kind of authentic talent that executives dream about finding.
How we gonna do the entrance of it though?
I don't know, you're the artist.
All right, here we go. It's your boy, Bryshere Gray, here, Empire. What's up, man?
That was great. Thanks. Congratulations on the success of the show. I mean, last year it seemed like it was like just a big train that came in and just kept going along. You guys set ratings records and everything. Did you expect that at all when you got the pilot script?
No, not at all. It just kind of just blew up out of nowhere, man, really, and just from the music to the acting, put it together. It was a great project.
And how has it changed your life personally? I mean, just all the success. I mean,
oh man, from everything.
I've been to events, people are screaming your name all the time.
Man, it's like traveling from city to city. People know my face everywhere I go. It's a huge blessing, man. It's just, I'm happy to be a part of something that's inspirational to the world and it means something to the world. And my character is kind of mean, but he means something to the world, and I'm just happy to be playing that character.
Look at that energy. You're watching someone who genuinely believed his talent would protect him. Bryshere Gray wasn't just successful, he was magnetic. Empire was a cultural phenomenon, and he was one of the beating hearts of that show. But here's what makes this story heartbreaking. Bryshere Gray had no idea he was walking into a carefully constructed trap. In his mind, all this success was happening because merit still mattered in Hollywood. He thought his talent and work ethic had earned him a seat at the table. What he didn't understand was that the table itself was designed to consume people exactly like him. And the people sitting at that table, they had been studying Bryshere Gray long before he even knew they existed. They knew exactly how to approach someone with his background, his ambitions, and his vulnerabilities. The trap was disguised as mentorship.
There is a conspiracy that these crimes were a result of him being allegedly forced into inappropriate relations with P. Diddy and Will Smith. Essentially, the theory is that the way that he experienced Hollywood and the things he was forced to do just put him on a downward spiral. Again, no excuse for harming your wife for multiple hours and choking her. I mean, that's a sick person.
Being a celebrity sometimes comes with, like, everybody wants to be successful in a celebrity and stuff like that, but it comes with, sometimes, and that's the only thing that I hate about it.
So let's talk about why Bryshere is now trying to take Will and Diddy to court. And for a pretty penny, $50 million. Now we have a blind item. I suspect the soon to step forward male victim of SA by this A-list mogul will not be the last man to do so. And this was about Diddy. Now, of course, we've learned a lot about Diddy, especially through my videos these past couple months. But the allegation is that Bryshere was SA'd by Diddy and Will Smith. The allegations claim that Will Smith and Diddy forced him into freak-off sessions similar to the ones with Cassie, with both men against his will. Early on in his career, you can hear interviews of Bryshere referring to Diddy and Will Smith as his mentors. It's now believed that both men were SA'ing him. Again, this is all alleged. After cutting off his relationship with Will and Diddy, Bryshere felt that he was blackballed from the music industry and in Hollywood. Many have tried to understand what's going on with Bryshere's career and why it took a downward spiral with two powerful men advocating for him. Now let's break into this lawsuit and what he could be suing them for, because the lawsuit was filed and claims that Will Smith and Diddy were jealous of Bryshere's success and talent, and they used their influence and connections to spread false rumors about him, blacklist him from projects, and interfere with his contracts. The lawsuit also accuses Will Smith and Diddy of orchestrating his arrest in 2020 when he was charged with domestic violence, which I don't really know how Will Smith and Diddy could control that moment. Bryshere's lawyer said that his client is a victim of malicious and a coordinated campaign by Will Smith and Diddy, two of the most powerful and vindictive men in Hollywood. Of course, these two have not responded to this lawsuit, but they have been dismissed as baseless and delusional claims from Bryshere. They also pointed out that Bryshere has a history of legal troubles and erratic behavior that he might be trying to deflect from. But there may be people out here who can corroborate his statements. For example, a singer named Jaguar Wright said in an interview that Will Smith and Diddy have done this to Bryshere. Quote, they told Jada Pinkett Smith and Will Smith that are both they do weird things in their house, and young men have left their house screaming to get away from them and their mentorship. Meek Mill's, Bryshere Gray have left that house screaming. And to imagine like going to these people's homes and then being, I guess, pushed to the point where you're running and screaming, it makes me so like, I don't know, I just am shocked at what they could be going through and that this is like a known thing.
They're both they do weird things in their house, and young men have left their house screaming to get away from them in their mentorship. Meek Mills, Bryshere Gray left that house screaming. August the only one that stayed, and I guess he was really sick. He needed a dog.
Hey, man.
And that was they kid's friend.
Jaguar Wright just connected every single dot that explains how a young man from Philadelphia ended up broken and discarded by the same people who promised to elevate him. Will Smith wasn't just mentoring Bryshere Gray, he was positioning him. And through Will's established connections to Diddy's network, that positioning led Bryshere straight into what Wright calls Diddy's web of influence. Think about the manipulation here. You're a 22-year-old kid from West Philadelphia, and Will Smith, the biggest movie star from your own neighborhood, is telling you he wants to help your career. What young man wouldn't trust that? What kid from the streets wouldn't believe that someone who made it out wants to help the next generation? But watch the body language in this next clip. Sometimes what people don't say tells you everything.
It's just great. I'm watching him, he's with my man Charlie Mack. So Charlie was with me every step of the way. First out the limo. So Charlie has been with me, 30 years coming up in the business. So, he's surrounded by a whole lot of strength. He's surrounded by a whole lot of love. And all he has to do is add discipline, and he's going to be all right.
It's like Uncle Will, Who is best to give you advice? And it's Will Smith, and I'm getting so much good advice. I got my first acting role, Empire, and it's changing my life. And it's like, I'm listening from the greatest, and it's like making me well prepared to work with Taraji and Terrence Howard,
Look at Bryshere's face. Will Smith is gushing about their mentorship, talking about how great everything is. But Bryshere looks like someone who's trapped in a conversation he can't escape. That's not the face of someone grateful for guidance. That's the face of someone who knows something is wrong but doesn't have the power to say it. This is conditioning disguised as opportunity. This is pred wrapped in industry connections.
They're both they do weird things in their house, and young men have left their house screaming to get away from them in their mentorship. Meek Mills, Bryshere Gray left that house screaming. August the only one that stayed, and I guess he was really sick. He needed a dog.
There it is. Jaguar Wright just confirmed what that uncomfortable body language was telling us. Both Will Smith and Diddy were involved in things that left Bryshere and other celebrities screaming and running from houses. This wasn't mentorship. This was systematic mistreatment disguised as career development. They used Bryshere's trust, his ambition, and his respect for successful black men to lure him into situations that would destroy his sense of self. The same young man who thought his talent had earned him a seat at the table was actually being served up as the main course. But here's where this story takes its most devastating turn. Because when you're dealing with systematic preds, they understand something crucial about young black men trying to make it in Hollywood. Family support is often the only thing standing between survival and complete destruction. So they target the family first.
She knew she knew what Will did to him. But because of Charlie, see? And Charlie had promised her all kinds of things. And all she had to do was pretend to be a broken down single mom who worked her way up through the ghetto and raised a superstar for television, when the truth is she wasn't nothing but a drug dealer's whore. That's all she ever was. She went from drug dealer to drug dealer, and then she snitched on whoever she needed to snitch on until she could get to the bigger bag, until she got with Larry Lair, my friend who raised Bryshere in $1 million home. Your whole book is lies, Andy. And I hope anybody that bought it asks for a refund and demands it comes out of your pocket every time they see your son's gay. You and Charlie Mack.
Let me ask you. Today the U.S. Yeah, no, we gonna pray for Mr. Gray, man. If he needs prayer, I don't even know what's going on.
They're trying to sue him out so he'll feel too embarrassed to file his lawsuit against Diddy for what Will and Diddy did to him. With Jaden and Justin present, that tape exists.
Okay.
I really hope none of that baby oil was used on those kids. That would just be in bad taste. Baby oil on babies.
You can't say that the flavor camp was sponsored by Johnson & Johnson. You just come on.
Starting to sound that way, ain't it?
No.
All that talent, and they and she let Charlie tune that boy up on coke, knowing that he was bipolar and had ADHD. What kind of mother would do that to her son? Turn him into a so you could pretend to be something more than what you are, which is nothing more than a Philly whore. You're a whore. You're a bigger whore than they're making your son out to be, that's for sure.
I need you to pause and process what you just heard. Jaguar Wright didn't just expose industry mistreatment. She exposed family complicity in that cruelty. She just told us that Bryshere Gray's own mother was involved in turning her son into what she calls a P-star for Hollywood money. Think about the devastation of that betrayal. You're a young man trying to navigate an industry that's already dangerous and pre-dream, and the one person who's supposed to protect you, your mother, is actually facilitating your mistreatment for financial gain. This isn't just about Hollywood corruption anymore. This is about the complete breakdown of every support system a young person should have. When your family becomes part of the machine designed to exploit you, where do you turn? Who do you trust? The answer is nobody. And when a young person reaches that level of complete isolation, when every support system has been corrupted or destroyed, the human psyche starts to break down in predictable ways. What happened to Bryshere Gray after this systematic betrayal wasn't random self-destruction. It was the inevitable psychological collapse of someone whose entire world had been revealed as a lie.
Well, the incident happened in July when Empire was on filming break because of COVID. Bryshere Gray is now out on bond but charged with several felonies for aggravated and kidnapping. We know Bryshere Gray from his role as Hakeem Lion on the hit show Empire, not for what police say unfolded inside his Goodyear home in July. Police responding to a domestic violence call. New documents obtained by 12 News show what police believe happened that night. Gray's wife of 9 months, Candace Jimdar, called 911 saying Gray her. The documents reveal she told officers the violence lasted for about 3 hours, saying he punched her more than 100 times after she confronted him for texting other women. She says he claimed the messages were fake, then choked her and pulled a knife on her, only stopping to smoke weed. In the paperwork, Jimdar told investigators she was able to escape when Gray drove her to get rolling paper. When he stopped at a gas station, she flagged someone down for help. When she got to a hospital, the documents say staff noted bruising all over her body, along with injuries consistent with strangulation. This is Gray's mugshot from that night, after police arrested him near his home. Documents say he didn't admit to hurting his wife, instead telling officers that she was trying to kill herself, and some of the injuries were from rough. His wife telling officers he's diagnosed with bipolar disorder and ADHD, but won't take his medicine.
Listen to that 911 call. You're hearing the sound of trauma manifesting as uncontrollable rage. Bryshere's wife ran to a gas station begging for help, saying he had been physically mistreating her for hours. When police arrived, he barricaded himself for 9 hours, claiming he was being set up. But here's what the mainstream media won't tell you: that paranoia wasn't irrational. When you've been systematically betrayed by everyone you trusted, when your own mother sold you to prees, when mentors turned out to be mistreaters, the idea that someone is setting you up isn't delusion. It's learned survival instinct.
That's all. The phone was in the neighborhood, so that's it. But I felt like you guys would understand me and listen to me.
We are listening. I'm willing to.
And that's all. The phone was in the neighborhood, so that's it with the phone.
I'm willing to, and I still want to, and we're having a good conversation. But you're talking in circles, man. You're talking about things that don't make sense, that don't add up.
What, the open relationship?
No. I'm okay with that. I mean, that's your business. Okay. You know, I wouldn't tell you that's okay or not okay. I'm talking about, you know, you went
burying a phone?
Well, that's one of the things. You went to John's. I know, but you already told me you had your phone there at John's house. I asked you if you took your phone, how many phones you had. You told me just one phone.
Yeah, because I'm looking at you and I'm realizing that you're a person just like me, you know?
Well, conveniently, after I told you we were going to find the location of the phone.
No. I'm realizing.
You got to see how I'm seeing it.
I know, because I deal with different type of IQs and stuff like that. So when you ask me a question, I visualize that I did have a phone in hand to text my neighbor. My neighbor texts John. We're all in the same community. So I did have a phone. So when I look at you, I say, man, when you ask me, did you have a phone? I didn't get the chance to just breathe. I said, yes, I had a phone, but I didn't. I should have told you. That's what I should have did. I should have just broke it up, but you was asking so many questions. Back to back, and I'm just trying to answer them right. So what I'm saying to you is...
Okay, so let's start over.
Okay.
I know, I could feel you want to be honest. Are you a bit nervous at all right now?
I got asthma.
You got asthma?
That's all.
Okay.
And I'm trying to process food, unprocessed food as well.
Yeah. Again, we're just trying to clarify the information here. Do you have a phone number for John?
No.
You don't have a phone number for John?
Mm-mm.
Okay.
Well, you can get it from your neighbor, right?
We're trying to figure out the situation.
Look at that footage. That's not acting crazy. That's dissociation. That's what trauma-induced psychosis looks like, when someone's reality has been so thoroughly shattered that they can't distinguish between real threats and perceived ones. The bipolar diagnosis, the substance misuse, the erratic behavior. These aren't character flaws. These are textbook responses to prolonged mistreatment and trauma. When you understand what was done to Bryshere Gray, his breakdown becomes the most predictable outcome imaginable. But here's where this story reaches its most cruel conclusion. The same industry that systematically destroyed this young man's mental health then turned its back on him completely when he needed support the most. They broke him, then abandoned him for being broken.
So what exactly are you doing? Because I see you here in Atlanta. Like, what are you doing now?
Right now, we working on a new single release right now. My new single, All Over Me, and getting ready just to get back into it.
So if you basically had anything to tell your fans or just people who support you or just wanted to put out your side, what would you tell them, or what do you want?
Man, don't listen to everything you see on the internet. Everything on the internet is not true.
Now, we did see you were locked up, so you're not locked up. You are out. You are free.
No, I'm not locked up. I'm free. I'm in the A, hot Atlanta, tearing the streets up.
Perfect. Thank you, man.
That's Bryshere Gray trying to re-enter the music industry after his legal troubles. And the rejection is immediate and absolute. This isn't just about his criminal record. This is about a calculated decision to ensure he never recovers enough to speak out about what happened to him. The same executives who once courted him, who profited from his talent, who facilitated his mistreatment are now acting like they never knew him. That's not a coincidence. That's systematic disposal of a broken asset.
Literally waking up to allegations is kind of crazy. And I guess when you're a celebrity or if you're a person of public interest, you gotta be super careful on, I guess, being you, I guess. I don't know. You know, the thing that the young lady filed was a thing anybody could file. Like, I could walk down the street and I could be like, this person is doing this, like making signs or doing this to me, and I can go and get that person kind of like in there, like, you know what I'm saying? It's kind of legal. It's very legal, but it's like, yeah, thank you. But I wake up to and I'm like, man, literally, like, every day is something else, something new. Like, bruh, give it a rest. So I seen Jesse today. Jesse pulled up on me today. Went over, spoke to Taraji, and just, you know, really got some good advice on how to just move on, move forward, and not letting things get to me in this new successful light.
This is heartbreaking to watch. You're seeing a traumatized young man trying to plead his case to the same industry that destroyed him, desperately explaining that he's ready to work, that he's learned from his mistakes. But what he doesn't understand is that his mistakes were never the real problem. The real problem was that he survived the mistreatment intact enough to potentially remember and speak out. His mental breakdown wasn't a bug in their system, it was a feature. They wanted him broken because broken people don't expose their mistreaters. But even in his damaged state, Bryshere represented a potential threat to people with everything to lose. So the final phase of his destruction was complete industry exile, making sure he could never rebuild the platform or credibility needed to tell his story. Tonight, we witnessed something Hollywood never wanted exposed: the complete systematic destruction of a young black man who had everything the industry claims to value: talent, charisma, and an authentic connection with audiences. From Empire's golden boy to broken casualty, Bryshere Gray's story isn't just about one person. It's about a machine designed to consume the very qualities that make someone genuinely powerful. Terrence Howard and Katt Williams didn't just back each other up tonight. They provided a roadmap for understanding how systematic greed operates behind the glitz and glamour, using mentorship as manipulation and success as a trap. But if this level of systematic mistreatment can happen to someone as talented and beloved as Bryshere Gray, with all the success and visibility he had, what's happening to young artists who don't have Empire-level fame to protect them? And when we see the next young black star suddenly lose their mind or throw their career away, will we blame them for being unstable? Or will we finally recognize the psychological battle that broke them before they ever had a chance to fight back? If you like this video, hit that subscribe button so that you never miss out on any new videos. And until then, fam, keep it real.